Hey everyone, welcome back to Lyrical Layers. It's just so great to have you here with us for this custom-tailored deep dive.
Absolutely. So glad you're joining us.
We have got a really fantastic mission lined up for you today. We're taking a whole stack of sources. So we're talking articles, track listings, digital footprint.
The whole 9 yards.
Exactly. And we are using all of that to extract the ultimate blueprint of modern musical hustle. I do want to set the stage right away, though, because today is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026.
Right.
And we are tracking an artist whose momentum has been building so significantly over the past couple of years that, honestly, looking at his career is basically a real-time lesson in independent growth.
Yeah, the subject of our deep dive today is an up-and-coming artist named Packedge. That's P-A-C-K-E-G-G-E. He's a singer, a songwriter, and just this really dynamic performer hailing straight out of Kingston, Jamaica.
Kingston, yeah.
But to give you the 30,000-foot view right out of the gate, we aren't just looking at a musician today. We are really analyzing the anatomy of an independent creator, somebody who is carving out a completely unique space in the modern streaming era.
Right, and he's doing all of this through his very own imprint, Team Edge Records.
Team Edge Records, exactly, which is a huge part of the strategy.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because when you dive into the sources on Packedge, there is a phrase he uses to describe his own style that it immediately jumps off the page. He calls it real-life versatility in motion.
Real-life versatility in motion. I mean, it's a bold claim.
It really is.
But when we look at his actual output, it translates to an approach focused entirely on crafting tracks that blend efficacy, storytelling, and cross-genre appeal. He isn't just trying to, make a catchy beat.
Right.
He's deliberately creating music that moves between new age vibes, heavy dancehall bangers, and deeply introspective rap.
Which makes his digital footprint a little tricky for the platforms to handle, honestly. Like if you pull up Apple Music right now, they categorize Packedge primarily under modern dancehall.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, given he's from Kingston. But then you actually hit play on his catalog, and the output spans R&B, hip-hop, rap, and soul. It refuses to stay in that one lane.
What's fascinating here is the business mechanics behind that cross-genre appeal. You have these very deep Kingston dancehall roots, which brings a specific rhythm and cultural weight.
Wow.
But by fusing that with international urban sounds, he expands what we'd call his algorithmic surface area.
Meaning he basically has more chances to be discovered by entirely different types of listeners.
Precisely. If he only makes pure dancehall, he only lands on dancehall discovery playlists.
Makes sense.
But by dipping into R&B, he suddenly shows up on late-night soul playlists. By producing heavy motivational rap, he lands on hip-hop workout mixes. The algorithms desperately want to put him in one specific box, because that is how code is written. But his actual music strategy forces the platforms to distribute him across multiple genres.
It really makes you think about your own career modes. Like, in a gig economy, specializing in just one thing is actually a liability. For you listening right now, think about how often you are pressured to quote-unquote pick a lane in your profession.
Oh, constantly.
Right, but Packedge proves that diversification is survival. His refusal to be boxed into a single category isn't a lack of focus. It is a highly calculated masterclass in modern personal branding.
He is giving multiple different types of listeners a doorway into his world, and we really see the reality of that hustle when we start walking through the timeline of his catalog, because his output is relentless.
Let's get into that timeline. There is this chronological quirk in his digital footprint that I think really highlights the realities of being an independent artist.
Yeah, the metadata lag.
Exactly. Packedge has this major full-length project, an album called Delayed Foresight. Now, the promotion and the tracks from this album were dropping around early 2024. But then, if you look at a platform like Genius, which tracks lyrics and metadata, his first officially noted track on the table here, there's a song called Couldn't Resist, and that is listed as dropping on September 17th, 2025.
We should probably define what we mean by metadata in this context for everyone.
Go for it.
Metadata is essentially the digital fingerprint of a song. It's the underlying data that tells the internet who wrote the lyrics, who produced the beat, and when it was released.
Right. The data behind the data.
And that lag between early 2024 and September 2025 tells us so much about the independent grind. You can be putting in the work, releasing incredibly polished full-length projects like Delayed Foresight. But the internet's infrastructure, the major tracking sites, the wider algorithmic recognition, it might not catch up and officially document your presence until over a year later.
But he didn't just sit around waiting for Genius or Apple Music to recognize him either. The timeline shows a guy who just kept his head down and kept releasing music. Pushing into late 2025, he drops a single called Why You Callan in December.
December, yeah.
And looking at the sources, he has ongoing releases pushing right through into this current year, 2026.
Because he's been so prolific, it is actually a little overwhelming to look at his discography all at once. We're looking at dozens of tracks. But if we break this massive list of singles down into distinct thematic eras or vibes, the underlying duality of Packedge really starts to emerge.
Let's group them up then. Let's start with what we'll call his swagger and dancehall era. This is where he leans hard into his Kingston roots. We're talking about high-energy, confident tracks like Call My OG, which is also known as Original Gay Alice.
Right, Original Gay Alice translating roughly to Original Ladies Man.
Yeah.
It takes a certain level of built-in confidence to lead with a title like that.
It really does. And he backs it up with tracks that carry these heavy, fighty broom vibes, along with singles like Kum Fa and Not Fooling You. If you are a DJ looking for something to light up a club or a street dance, this is the corner of his catalog you pull from.
But here's the friction point. If an artist gets too comfortable making high-energy club tracks, it is very difficult for them to pivot into serious lyrical content without giving their audience whiplash. Yet, Packedge has this entirely different thematic vein of motivational bars.
That's the rap influence coming through.
It is. He leans heavier into a lyrical rap style here, focusing on the grind, ambition, and financial independence. The song titles really wear their heart on their sleeve. You have tracks like Profit Over Pressure and Value Over Everything.
There is also JKS, Just No Say We Up, which just radiates this massive motivational energy. And we cannot forget PTD, which stands for Global Takeover. You have to respect the raw ambition of dropping a track called Global Takeover when you're still an independent artist building your label.
It is speaking it into existence. But to complicate his artistic profile even further, he introduces a third distinct angle to his music.
The sensual side.
Exactly.
This is where he slows the tempo way down and pulls in those R&B and soul influences we talked about earlier. This is where you find that December 2025 drop, Why You Callan, along with tracks like Don't You Lie. He actually released an entire project dedicated exclusively to this vibe called the Sensual EP.
And beyond the EP, he has several standalone tracks floating in the mix that fit this smoother profile. You've got Risk It All, You Have A, and Wish I Could.
So if you're analyzing this from a marketing perspective, how does an artist maintain authenticity across so many different sounds? We have Kingston dancehall swagger, we have heavy hip-hop motivational rap, and we have smooth R&B. Doesn't that risk alienating listeners who only showed up for one specific vibe?
It would if the core storytelling wasn't consistent. But the contradiction is actually where the depth lies. The underlying authenticity is the glue. Well, Packedge treats his catalog like a reflection of a real human being. Real people aren't just one thing. We go to clubs, we grind at our jobs, and we have quiet, intimate moments. By mirroring that complexity, he isn't alienating listeners. He is building a deeper parasocial relationship with them. That is the real-life versatility in motion at work.
To see all of those elements fully synthesized, we really need to zoom in on that full-length project from 2024, Delayed Foresight. Our sources point out that this specific album leans heavily into modern hip-hop and rap influences, much more so than pure dancehall.
We really have to spend a moment on the conceptual weight of that title, Delayed Foresight. It is a phenomenal concept for a debut or early career album.
What does that title actually mean in practice?
The overarching theme of the project is the journey of turning delayed vision or hindsight into foresight. Think about how often you realize you made a mistake only after the damage is done.
All the time.
Right, that's hindsight, it's delayed vision. The album is about taking those hard lessons learned through experience, resilience, and persistence, and using them as a tool to navigate your future.
Taking the sting of hindsight and weaponizing it into foresight so you don't make the same mistakes twice. This is a very mature perspective for an emerging artist. Let's look at how he actually executes this concept on the record, because the track list is very intentional.
The project kicks off with track 02, which is called It's Time. It functions as this huge motivational opener. It isn't passive listening, it is a literal call to action, urging the listener to wake up and seize the moment.
And he doesn't let that energy drop. By the time you hit track 04, built for this, the tone shifts from just waking up to actually preparing for battle. It's described as a high-energy track, all about being mentally and physically ready for the challenges that are coming, but also preparing for the success that follows.
That is a crucial distinction. Success brings its own set of massive challenges, and inevitably, in any independent venture, you are going to face major setbacks. That brings us to one of the standout tracks, Get Back Up.
I imagine a track about failing could easily sound depressing.
It could, but he flips it entirely. Get Back Up focuses on resilience, sure, but it features an electrifying hook and driving beats. It makes the act of bouncing back from failure feel triumphant and energetic rather than exhausting.
Speaking of triumphant energy, there is a major collaborative moment on the album with a track called Do It Again. This one features an artist named Nefex.
Yes.
It has this repetitive, anthemic energy that is entirely focused on the daily grind. It's about the reality that achieving success isn't a one-time event. You have to have the discipline to wake up the next day and just repeat the process.
Which naturally leads into the reality of sustaining that process. The track Stack the Paper is where those heavy hip-hop and rap influences really take center stage. It is a hustle-focused, money-oriented rap track.
Grounding the lofty goals of the album in the very real necessity of building financial independence. You can't execute your vision if you can't keep the lights on.
Exactly. But he balances that financial grind with emotional reflection. There's a track called I Let Go, which is featured heavily in his audio visualizers online. It is a deeply reflective piece about releasing past burdens, because logically, you cannot have foresight for the future if you're still dragging around the heavy baggage of your past.
What stands out to you as you listen to this breakdown of delayed foresight? Think about how these themes, personal growth, bouncing back from failure, maintaining a forward-thinking mindset, apply directly to your own daily grind. Packedge is using the medium of indie rap and hip-hop, but he is mapping out a universal human experience.
It's highly relatable, but having a great concept isn't enough in 2026. The music industry is littered with brilliant albums that no one ever heard. What makes Packedge's story compelling is the behind-the-scenes reality of his digital strategy.
This is a major aha moment for me when looking through the sources. He doesn't just write and record the music, he operates his entire business under his own independent label, Team Edge Records.
Maintaining that creative control is vital. He releases everything through Team Edge, and he is very disciplined about his digital footprint, heavily utilizing specific tags across all his platforms, namely #Packedge and #PackMusic. That creates a unified, searchable database for his content.
And his platform strategy is incredibly thorough. He is everywhere you expect a modern artist to be. Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Music. But his main engines for community growth seem to be YouTube and X, the platform formerly known as Twitter.
Let's look at the mechanics of his YouTube channel, Packedge Music. He isn't just uploading static audio files with an album cover, he is uploading official music videos, audio visualizers, and dynamic lyric overlays. He also does these massive, full playlist-style album uploads.
Why do visualizers and lyric overlays matter so much? Is it just about looking professional?
It is about gaming the algorithm through watch time. In the modern streaming era, people often use YouTube as a secondary music player in the background. But if you provide dynamic visuals or a lyric video that moves with the beat, the listener is much more likely to tab back over and actually watch the screen.
And if they're watching the screen, YouTube's algorithm sees that as highly engaging content.
Right, it tricks the algorithm into realizing that this isn't just background noise. It's content keeping eyes on the platform. So YouTube starts recommending it to more people. Furthermore, reading the lyrics as the song plays deepens the listener's connection to the themes we were just analyzing on delayed foresight.
That is incredibly savvy. And then you look at his presence on X, and it is just pure grassroots networking. If you go to his bio at Packedge Music, he is totally open and accessible. He openly lists his emails right there in the bio, patch23@gmail.com and teamedrecords@gmail.com.
He is openly inviting bookings, collaborations, and dubplates.
We should quickly define dubplates for anyone unfamiliar with the term because it's deeply rooted in Jamaican music culture.
A dubplate is essentially an exclusive, custom-recorded version of a track. Historically, in Jamaican sound clashes, a DJ or a sound system would pay an artist to re-record one of their hit songs, but change the lyrics to specifically shout out the DJ or insult a rival sound system.
So by openly inviting dubplates in his bio in 2026, he is honoring his Kingston roots while actively creating a revenue stream and networking with DJs globally. He knows he isn't a massive mainstream household name just yet, but he is out there laying the bricks himself.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Packedge's trajectory is undeniable proof of how the modern music industry actually functions for the independent creator. We live in a world characterized by massive information overload. Thousands of songs are uploaded to streaming platforms every single day.
You cannot rely on a lucky viral moment.
No, you can't. Authenticity, the resilience to keep getting back up, and consistent multi-platform storytelling are how you cut through the noise. Packedge isn't waiting to be discovered. He is actively building the infrastructure of his own success through Team Edge Records.
Let's bring all these threads together. Packedge is the epitome of the modern independent artist. He is leveraging a global digital presence. He is maintaining total creative and business control, and most importantly, he is flat out refusing to limit his artistic output to just one genre.
He embraces the totality of his influences. He takes the swagger of Kingston dancehall, the introspective storytelling and hustle of hip-hop, and the smooth sensuality of R&B, and he weaves them together. It is a testament to the fact that building a sustainable audience today requires you to be as multifaceted as the people you're trying to reach.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today, something to really explore on your own. The sources define Packedge's unique style as real-life versatility in motion, this incredible ongoing process of turning delayed hindsight into foresight. If your own life and career were an independent music project right now, how versatile is your motion? Are you stuck playing a single genre on repeat because it feels safe? Or are you actively blending all of your past experiences, the successes, the failures, the different skills you've picked up along the way, to build your own delayed foresight for whatever comes next?
It is a vital question to ask yourself, whether you are building a record label, navigating a corporate career, or just trying to figure out your next step.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Packedge and Team Edge Records. We hope you are walking away energized, thoughtful, and maybe inspired to add a little more cross-genre versatility to your own daily grind. We will catch you on the next one.